Okay. So now I think it's recording.
Yeah, I think I see a little.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So I'm just going to do a little intro first, and then
Okay.
we'll start right after that. Sound all
Okay.
right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Hello, I'm Joshua Moore, programmer for the Jewish Film Institute. We're the presenters of the San Francisco Jewish Film Festival, and welcome to our Cinegogue sessions. This is a new specially curated series that utilizes our streaming archive, JFI On Demand. We bring you a new thematic double feature paired with a short film from our monthly online short series each week. For volume 1 of the Cinegogue series, our theme is baseball, since this was supposed to be the opening week of Major League Baseball. And now we're joined by Nate Fish, the subject and star of the short film, The King of Jewish Baseball. Welcome, Nate.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being able to do this in such
Sure.
a crazy time. Um, are you hanging in there okay?
Yeah, yeah, I'm in upstate New York, sort of isolated anyways, so it's a good place. Don't want to complain too much at a time where a lot of people are locked in studio apartments down in the city, and we have space to roam and stuff like that. So it's a weird time for everybody, but we have it, I think, pretty good compared to a lot of people right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, also, how much do you miss baseball right about now with that such a great distraction to have and
I know.
times?
I know. Everybody, I mean, I'm talking to all my friends that work in pro baseball. Everyone got sent home from spring training.
Mm,
Don't really know when everyone's going to get called back. I mean, I've heard different dates, but it's all just speculation at this point. I don't know if they're going to come back and play with no fans so they can at least broadcast the games on TV or what the strategy is. But it's certainly strange going into spring without baseball.
yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your film, The King of Jewish Baseball. What is the origin story of this character?
Sure. So I have a blog called King of Jewish Baseball. And before we competed in the World Baseball Classic 2012, which is the first time Team Israel went to the WBC,
Mhm.
my friend Danny Dwyer, who was my roommate at the time, he's a filmmaker. We were living in Brooklyn, New York, and we wanted to make a short film to sort of promote the blog and promote the team that was about to go compete down in Florida for the qualifying round of the World Baseball Classic. So we just, I already had the costume, I had the cape and the hat and everything for the blog and some photo shoots that we had done for that. And so put that stuff on, grabbed some baseball gear that I had at the house, and just went out into the streets in our neighborhood, which was Bushwick, and just started playing ball. We had always sort of fantasized about what it would be like to play baseball in the streets. Every sport sort of has a street version, most sports translate better, basketball and stuff like that. But we wanted to sort of try and create like a street baseball. So just started taking batting practice in the street and throwing the ball at objects and interacting with like the kids that were in the neighborhood. We took like one day to shoot, another day and a half to edit, and then Danny put it out on his Vimeo, and it's gotten like a really good response. People, it's from baseball people to non-baseball people seem to really get a kick out of it, and it's sort of got that little viral element where people enjoy it so much that they naturally just share it with their communities also. So it's had a good little life.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we certainly loved the film and wanted to share it with everyone. So you kind of you did it all in one day. Were you just out on the streets without kind of closing anything down? Were you just capturing what was there, or did you hire actors and kind of stage things? How was that process?
Yeah, well, Danny's a pretty experienced director and filmmaker, so he kind of storyboarded the whole thing out loosely. Said, "All right, we need this shot. You're going to be this character. We're going to get Shlomo, who is sort of the bad guy in the movie, who's also a member of Team Israel. He's an Israeli guy who's been playing for the national team and a good friend of ours for a long time. So he lived in a nearby neighborhood. So we got Shlo to come over we got Danny's girlfriend to play the female character that I rescue in the movie. We sort of came up with a loose idea, like good guy, bad guy, woman that needs to be rescued, a couple funny scenarios and shots, and went out with that loose story in mind and sort of a shot list that Danny knew that he needed. And then just kind of got creative. We had to drag. There's this one shot in it where I kind of throw the ball up in the air before I hit it, and so we got to get a ladder out to get those angles. And but I mean, Danny has the experience and the equipment to sort of do all that stuff, so it made it really easy. So we loosely had a story in mind and a few friends that we sort of recruited for the day. And that was it. But it was pretty spontaneous, and some of that stuff made it into the film, like interacting with the kids and other people in the neighborhood, which was fun and weird, I'm sure, for them to see a dude walking down the street in a baseball uniform and a cape on like a Tuesday afternoon,
And what else have you done with this character? Have you done any follow-up films, or do you put on the costume anymore and go to events with it? It's such a great character.
Yeah, it's sort of this satire superhero character that I just created for the blog. So the blog has been going for years. I didn't post on it last year. I was working with the Dodgers last year and just got caught up so much with work that I didn't post. But it's had a 7-year lifespan, and 100,000 or more people sort of come to see the site. So I don't put the costume on often, but the voice of the character has been an ongoing thing for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your relation to Israeli baseball.
Sure. So I played in the Israel Baseball League in 2007, which is now defunct professional baseball league in Israel. There was one season. That was sort of my introduction to baseball in Israel. I returned in 2009 to play in the Maccabi games for the second time, and then started creating a relationship with the baseball community there. So they would bring me back to coach the national team for the European championships and things like that. I was working at the time as a baseball coach in New York. I had my own baseball academy. And would travel to Israel every summer or every 2 years to work with the players there. In 2012, I was with Team Israel for the World Baseball Classic. And then following that experience, I moved to Israel for 3 years to work as the executive director for Israel Baseball until the next World Baseball Classic, which was in 2017. I was on the coaching staff for that. We had an amazing experience where we went on an improbable run in Korea and Japan and finished fifth in the world, and got some good prize money for baseball development in Israel. And then I was planning on this summer being with the team again for the 2020 Olympics as the third base coach, but that got bumped a year. So we're still looking forward to that, but that experience is going to be delayed a little bit. But that's sort of the next thing that we're ramping up for, which is obviously a big stage. That's going to take a lot of work from this whole crew of coaches and players and executives that have been working on development in Israel for baseball for a long time.
And how is the sport doing in Israel today? I mean,
there's sort of two different camps. There's like the American Jewish camp, who are very much baseball fans and interested in Israel baseball. Right. And that gives us a pool of players to pull from, minor league guys that come from Jewish background, major league guys. So that's sort of one camp. And then there's the domestic baseball program, which is not as enthusiastic or expert in baseball, sort of a small baseball scene, 1,000 kids in like 15 different cities playing for clubs, playing little league. Right. It's always an uphill battle trying to sort of introduce baseball in a place where it doesn't exist already, and you come up with funds to build fields and get people there with high level experience. So those are the two sort of sides of the bridge. Baseball in Israel sort of very slowly gets a higher profile and more people become interested in it, but it's a slow climb for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
are the number of kids playing the game increasing every year though? Is it?
Yeah. It's been increasing every year. I mean, in the period that I was there, in the 3 years I was there, it increased by 20%
Uh-huh.
because we really put focus on development for the kids and getting more kids to play. So it does go up, and every time we go to the Olympics or go to the World Baseball Classic, there's more exposure, and the kids have guys to look up to and
Sure.
say, oh, hey, look at this guy, he's playing for Israel. I want to do that. I want to be like that. I want to, this is a role model. So that's a big piece of it. But it's always hard in any non-baseball playing country to establish a baseball program.
Do you know if Major League Baseball has any plans to do any exhibition games or, to help champion the game there?
Yeah, I mean, Major League Baseball has been really helpful just in inviting us to the World Baseball Classic and giving us those opportunities. I don't think realistically that there's a facility where they could host a big league exhibition game in Israel. And I don't think there's a big enough fan base. I know they did a game in London last year, a Red Sox Yankee game. So there is definitely an interest in growing the game into different regions of the world. But you need a really, really strong base. You need facilities that are up to major league standards. And it takes a lot to do something like that. So Major League Baseball is definitely interested in expanding into Israel and every other country. But I don't think Israel is in a place to host a big league game right now.
You mentioned you were doing some work for the Dodgers. What kind of
Yeah,
work did you do?
I was with them last year as a minor league coach. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Um, and then, in your film, I think it has such a strong, positive message, especially to young people, about following your dreams. And, it's a difficult time right now. And I was wondering if, you had any type of positive message that you'd like to get out there to the world.
Sure. I mean, the tagline for the King of Jewish Baseball project has always been "Follow your dreams." I mean, my personal evolution with baseball was that, like so many young people, I wanted to play Major League Baseball. I didn't end up achieving that, but by pursuing that, I wound up playing in 15 different countries, traveling the world, getting all kinds of amazing experiences. So just by pursuing your passion, you never know what's going to happen. You may not wind up where you originally thought, but there are lots of alternative places that you can wind up just by pursuing your passion that are really, even if they're unexpected, they're really satisfying and having amazing experiences that you never expected just because you're sort of blindly pursuing your passion. So I think that's an equation that should always work for people. Even if you don't ultimately achieve what the original goal was, chances are if you are good at something and you pursue it over time, you're going to wind up somewhere that you're proud of.
Right. Yeah, I think that's excellent advice, and
Yeah.
can apply that to my own life as well. With
Yeah. Cool. Nice.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Nate. Best of luck in the Olympics when they happen.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll keep promoting the film, and
Awesome.
wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
All right. Take care.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.